Within the first few conversations of him telling you, because I'm pretty sure if you fell in love with him, he was telling you all kinds of things, right? About how he felt about you, about how in love he is with, like, listen, he was doing the most for you to be in love. When he gets into that love bombing energy of, oh, all these things I love about you, that is exactly when you start suggesting, well, when's the first date? I would love to do this. I would love to go here. This is when you start telling him all the things that you want and need. Because now he has to prove that these things that he's saying about you is actually true. Peace and prosperity. Welcome back to Earth's Feminine, and if you are new here, welcome. This is the channel where you can come and learn all about primal feminine energy, the feminine energy that existed before colonization, and all of the conditioning around what we believe it means to be a woman. My name is Asaya. I am the creatrix and founder of the Creatrix Academy. The Creatrix Academy is an online platform where you can enroll into courses and programs that helps women to unlock what I have coined as their mystical art of feminine energy. If you would like to learn more about the Creatrix Academy and how you can enroll, visit the links down below in the description box to check out some of the courses and programs and see which ones align with you and where you currently are at in your journey. I currently have 50% off on all courses and programs up until the end of the month. So on 123, I really like the numbering of the end of the year, but basically 12/31/2023 is the final day for you to get 50% off of all of my courses, all of my programs, and join the Creatrix Academy community. So in today's video, what we're going to be talking about is when women fall in love with an illusion. So I had a lovely lady in the comments ask me this question. Basically, she was wanting to know, how do you get over someone that you were never really in a relationship with? I had to make a video on this question because honestly, the subject matter goes deep, because what allows women to even get to this point to where they have to get over someone that never even really put any effort into them. There are core principles and core philosophies of relationships and womanhood that haven't been accepted yet. And this is something that I know when I was younger, I fell into this category. When I say younger, I mean like teenager, like never even didn't know anything about men, didn't know anything about relationships. I was just really naive, you know? And a lot of young women fall into this category where they fall in love with a complete lie or a complete illusion, where the man isn't being real, he isn't being authentic, he maybe has another woman, he maybe has a wife, he maybe has all these other things going on. And so when you're young and you're just living life and you never taught solid principles around womanhood, femininity, and relationships, it's really easy for you to get sucked into the lies that men tell. I know that there are even some older women that fall into this category. Bless your heart. Just because you're older in age, it doesn't mean that you've learned these core things that every woman should understand and know about being in a relationship with a man. That is what I want to get into this video, is really knowing what to do to not get yourself into these situations in the first place, and also how to move on from these situations when you do find yourself wasting a lot of time with someone who was basically deceiving you or not being real with you, not being authentic. Okay, so I'm gonna read the comment that basically this video is in response to, so you guys can get a good idea of what I'm talking about. So it says,
"Hey sis, quick question. How to get over a man you never dated? Question mark. He made me feel so loved even though, yes, I didn't meet him in person. Long story short, apparently he has a girlfriend in the town he lives in, and I was the girlfriend he had in another city. For big context sake, I'm 18 years old and he is 29, but I swear I loved him. Anyways, how do I completely move on?"
okay, so first of all, thank you so much for commenting and asking this question. For all of my future people who watch my videos, feel free to leave your questions down below in the comment box. And if it's good enough, I will make a video on the question. First and foremost, when you are meeting a man, the first thing that you always have to remember, and this is something that my fathers, both of my fathers, because I have a stepfather and I have a biological father, they both ingrained into me growing up to never listen to what a man says, only listen to what he does. Okay, and that can be kind of like edited a bit, because sometimes if a man is only doing and never really affirming you with what he says, that's also not very healthy, right? You need a man who also affirms you with what he says to you and shows the actions. So you need both. But my fathers, they wanted me to always look at the nuts and bolts of a relationship and of men and look at their actions. He must talk to you more with the things that he does versus the things that he says, because a lot of times when women fall in love with an illusion, it's because they spent a lot of time listening to what this man was saying versus actually letting him show you how he feels. This will save you from a lot of things. This will save you from being love bombed. This will save you from being manipulated in relationships with men and just in life, period. People tend to say a lot of things. People tend to talk a lot. And specifically for men, they know that women are audible creatures, that we are ruled by basically the frequencies of what we hear. We fall in love with the vision and the ethereal, right? The energetics. So they know if they say all the right things, that a woman who's not grounded, a woman who is not balanced in her masculinity, in her healthy masculinity, is going to fall for the okie doke. She's going to fall for whatever he has to say, whatever, story he's telling you. Whatever he says out of his mouth is just that, things that he's saying with his mouth. It creates good conversation. It creates a nice energetic exchange. It creates a vibe, and you want to have good vibes. You want to have good feelings. But the character of a man is what is going to be the most important thing in any relationship, never his personality. And a lot of women fall in love with a man's personality, but how do you really understand this man's character? How do you really see who this man is beyond the facade? Because that's essentially what you want to fall in love with. You want to fall in love with his character, not his personality. His personality is like all the vibes, right? But the character of a man is and comes down to, what does he do in certain situations? How does he react in certain situations? When he's in certain predicaments, how does he respond? How does he behave? How does he act? And that shows a man's character, okay? The reason that I say character is so important is also because Character is something that is consistent, doesn't change over time. When a man is acting, because some men, they can act, okay, they can act like they have a certain character, but they've maybe necessarily never really done the work on themselves that it takes to really sustain certain traits and characteristics. For example, when you meet a man and he's courting you, say he does show up with all the actions, there is a time frame to how long a man who is acting can keep up the consistency of those character traits. And I always say 3 is the magic number. I believe that there should be a 90-day rule on just getting to know who someone is. You know, to hell with being intimate, okay? Intimacy is reserved for whatever your standards are for intimacy. Me personally, I believe that those standards of intimacy, giving your body to a man, should be reserved for marriage. I also believe that women should have the choice to choose what their standards are and what that level is for them. So that's why I say it's up to you. Choose what your standards are. Within this 90-day period, 3 months, you will really be able to see this man's character. It's really easy for a man to be and act a certain way when he has all of, the right circumstances to be acting in that way. But what about when things get a little difficult? What about when, things get a little challenging, right? What about when you become a real challenge? How is he going to act? How is he going to behave? This is going to tell you this man's character. Another great rule of thumb to have when you are getting to know a man or being courted by a man, especially in this day and age when a lot of people tend to meet online, you do not know this man until you meet him in person. From the comment, it seems like you guys didn't live in the same city. That is a rule of thumb that every woman should have, is I do not know this man until he takes the time to make the effort to come and meet me. Now, this is a really huge age gap that I'm looking at, okay? She's saying that she's 18 and this guy is 29. Sis, he is a grown, 29 years old. Wherever you are in the world, if he is really a man who is worthy of even having a woman in his life, he should have the means to be able to make time to visit you in your city, get his own place to stay, take you out somewhere nice, take you on an adventure, take you on an experience, whatever it is that you want to do, okay? And make the time and make that investment into you being able to trust him. So I mentioned this in my previous video, when men feel entitled to a woman's energy, how this is key, that a man always must show up into a relationship with a woman creating trust and creating respect within the relationship, and that is his responsibility, not yours. Within the first few conversations of him telling you, because I'm pretty sure if you fell in love with him, he was telling you all kinds of things, right? About how he felt about you, about how in love he is with, listen, he was doing the most for you to be in love. When he gets into that love bombing energy of, oh, all these things I love about you, that is exactly when you start suggesting, well, when's the first date? I would love to do this. I would love to go here. This is when you start telling him all the things that you want and need, okay? Because now he has to prove that these things that he's saying about you is actually true, okay? So when a man gets into this energy, well, really, this is like kind of love bombing. When he gets into that love bombing and, oh, all these things I love about you and da 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 da, that is exactly when You make him put the pedal to the metal and show you that that is how he feels about you. So start telling him the things that you need. Start telling him about things that you really want. Start telling him about date ideas. And like, he should be in those moments logging, cataloging all of the things that you're saying, so that either down the line he can surprise you, or he can right then and there start being like, okay, like, well, let's make it happen. Let's do this. Let's do that. He has to prove it to you. These are I think, the key main things, just, scratching the surface of how you can really be able to get yourself out of this cycle of falling in love with something that is not real, falling in love with illusions that men paint you. The days of women being manipulated, their naivety being taken advantage of by men, are over, okay? Let's just dead that in the water, because these are some of the core things that are going to help you to just know front and center, okay, he's full of shit. Or it will also help you to be able to see, okay, he's about what he says he is. Okay, he has character. This man has a strong character. These are the things that will really help you to really qualify a man early on and not waste a whole bunch of your time, okay? Early on. And I would say, for the sake of not wasting your time, really giving yourself a time limit to how long you will give a man to show you what he's about. You're not going to give him ample amounts of time to drag you along. Men don't know the amount of emotional investment women put into being in love with someone or being in a relationship with a man. Some men do. I'm not going to say all of them don't. Some men do understand this, but we're not going to rely on whether or not a man can relate to a woman and whether or not he understands the strife of a woman, right? We're going to assume that he really only just understands himself, because most men in the Western world, they only understand themselves. Really, women barely understand themselves. Like, we just learning about the depth and the multifaceted nature of being a woman. You want to depend on your own sacred knowledge of yourself, and knowing that you want to value what you know about yourself. So if you know that you fall in love fast and how emotionally invested you get into a man that you're spending a lot of time with, talking to, and getting to know, then you need to make your time frame quite short. So I always say that 3-month time frame of just kind of like free flowing and really seeing who this man is. But you can adjust it, to be shorter than that. You can adjust it to be longer than that. It's up to you. You are the creatrix. You are the goddess of the situation. Give getting to know a man and how authentic he is a time limit. Do not let him drag out your time and waste your time. If he's really bold with his love bombing, I would give him the next week, right? Because I've had men, that I meet, they've told me that they were just like completely in love with me on the first day that they met me. And then a week later, I don't hear anything from them. And it's like, okay, I see what that is. So at that point, you could just cut it off short, because 9 times out of 10, that same guy is going to try and come back around and call you a month later or weeks later, to try to see what you're up to. For me personally, I cut it off. Like, no. You was saying that you was in love with me and all these crazy things and all like love bombing to the 9, and then you disappear for weeks on end, and now you want to call me? No, sir. So that is where you have to be really strong in your boundaries. You have to say, no, I will not be manipulated. You will not take advantage of my emotions and my sensitivity. And men need to value a woman's emotionality again, because it's become something that is not valued. And it's the reason why a lot of women are afraid to be emotional, are afraid to open their heart, are afraid to be sensitive, loving, caring, Queen of Cups kind of energy, loving women. We don't want these women to be the poster board of being used and abused anymore. We want the Queen of Cups, loving, nurturing, ultimate feminine energy to be a symbol of strength again, and what it means to be a woman in her power, just like all of the other queens in the tarot deck. So the final question I'm going to be answering is, how do I completely move on after basically falling in love with someone that I never actually knew or never really and truly dated or was in a relationship with? You find yourself in a situation where you fell in love and you became extremely emotionally invested into someone. And I'm not going to minimize you falling in love. I'm not going to make you feel and seem like you're stupid, like something's wrong with you, like you're an idiot for having a heart and being in love, like enjoying the feeling of love. Because essentially when a woman is feeling love and she's feeling in love, it's never really about the man. Okay? What happens is the man comes into our life and he starts to trigger or spark emotions inside of us that cause us to experience a reality with ourselves that is our true state, that is our true state of being, that is our true state of existence. Because we as women, we are love. We are the energetic embodiment of the earth. So we are also the energetic embodiment of love, because the earth represents the frequency of love. 432 megahertz, right? That's supposedly the frequency that the earth vibrates on. This is also the frequency of love, of heart opening, of the source that we all emanate and come from. When you fall in love, when you feel this feeling that this man is sparking inside of you, because men are electrical beings, they spark us, right, electrically, and inside of us there's something being created. So what I have done in my past when I found myself in predicaments where I fell hard, it was like a dream almost. Like I fell in love with a dream. But this man helped me to become one with that dream. When I realized that the reality of who this man wasn't actually the dream that I had. What I did in those scenarios is I took note of that dream and I kept it close to my heart. I kept it close to me. So basically, this is a type of aspect of manifesting that will help you manifest the person that you're actually looking for. Is you must now take note of all of the aspects of the relationship that you had with him and the feelings that he sparked within you. How this is now a part of your potion, your magic potion of love, and what you want to experience in. So there was something about this man, okay, in his energy that you enjoyed. Something about his energy that caused you to become more in tune with yourself, more at one with yourself, right? So we want to take him out of the picture and we want to focus on you, because this is about you. Focus on what that is, what those things are, what are those qualities, right? And honestly, this is something that you could do in your dating process in general, right, is you focus on all of the things about this man that cause you to feel amazing. The things that cause you to feel so in love with yourself, essentially. And what I would do is I would write all of these things down and I would add it to your potion, right? Your magical potion. And it's really funny because Halle Bailey made a song that exemplifies this process so perfectly, because it's basically you taking all of the qualities that you really loved about this experience with this man and you're putting it into a pot. So basically, moving on is going to involve you to recognize the things about this relationship that caused you to fall in love. Typically, what ends up happening when women find out that their dream relationship is actually not reality is that love that they felt will then turn immediately into this pain, like dense pain in their heart. And, basically you're heartbroken. But what we want to do in these moments is hold on to that love that we feel, maintain that feeling of love, and realize that that love was never coming really from this man. It was always inside of you. It was always something that was coming from within, and he was just sparking that feeling that you really are supposed to have with yourself. So this is how I've been able to move on and flower and blossom and grow from relationships that didn't play out the way that I would have liked them to. But at the end of the day, it allowed me to recognize more and more what it is that I really desire in a relationship, the things that I truly love about myself, and the feelings that I like to have in relationships. And it helped me to get even more clear about what it is that I like and the kind of person that I am. That is basically what I have to say on this subject of when women fall in love with an illusion. These are all the things that I believe will help you to see a man clearly and not fall into the trap of the illusion, and also not pity yourself and think down on yourself when this basically illusion gets shattered and reality comes to the surface. There is nothing wrong with you being a creative and imaginative and whimsical woman that falls in love with things that aren't actually there, right? That's actually a really huge part of our ability to create the things that we want to see in this world. So just because this man isn't living up to the dream that he was sparking within you, that doesn't mean that you can't manifest something even better, someone even better that will. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and let me know what you guys think about this video in the comments down below. Have you ever fallen in love with an illusion? Have you ever been with a man way past its expiration date and felt like you could have applied a few of these principles, or maybe everything that I've said in this video, in the past and moving forward in the future? Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I will meet you guys there. Peace.